What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the length of Ghost of Yotei. Now, we don't know specific numbers, and ultimately, we might not know until the game comes out, but the creative director of the game did an interview with Games Radar, and they talk about it being very, very similar to Ghost of Tsushima. So we'll go over the quote that he said, we'll go over the how long to beat time, which sometimes, and actually more often nowadays than not, I actually don't agree with the how long to beat time, but I will say for Ghost of Tsushima, I looked at it ahead of time. It does seem pretty close to what I did, so I guess I'll have that biasness. I'll believe it this time. But no, it's a very good number. I can appreciate that. I appreciate that they're not tripling the length. As we always talk about, bigger does not always mean that it's better, right? Just because you make it double as much does not mean that double stuff that you put in is all that good. So from Games Radar, Ghost of Yotei has a similar time commitment to Ghost of Tsushima. Another 25-hour open world RPG sounds heavenly to my swelling backlog. So again, they talked to the creative director of the game, Jason Connell, and he said, we designed the game with some of the similar numbers in terms of scale and scope of the last experience in mind, describing how Sucker Punch looked at Ghost of Tsushima while developing Ghost of Yotei. In that way, we actually found it to be quite satisfying, and there were some good numbers to jump off of. Considering the scale and scope, it goes without saying that the sequel has hours of fun to offer. We feel that the experience of playing through Yotei, whether you're just ripping through the story, or you're somebody that likes to just go through the world and explore, or you're that hardcore platinum chaser, that it is a similar experience to Ghost of Tsushima. We expect in terms of time commitment, concludes the lead. How long is said time commitment then really? And we'll jump over right now to how long to beat. So Ghost of Tsushima, 25 hours for the main story, 46 hours for main and side, 62 hours for completionists. Now, I always say the completionists and the main and side, sometimes I feel like those get confused in the people that like put their own hours in. I feel like it took me in the high 40s, low 50s. I platinumed it. I'm actually planning on replaying it right before Yotei comes out and platinuming it again on the Podcast Now account that I have. I have like a personal and Podcast Now, so I might platinum it twice. It's I don't know. I love it. I mean, I've said that before, but what I will say, what's interesting is I've seen more and more people, maybe it's just the haters out there, but I'm not against constructive criticism of any game, really. I have seen more and more people as the time has gone on and as we've led into Yotei, they have talked about the side stuff and it just not being all that great. I'm going to be interested, going back and replaying it 5 years later. I didn't feel that way. I felt like the way I think they did the world. Look, in an open world game, there's going to be a lot of side activities that repeat. And it's really, to me, just probably how much you put in it. I was actually just doing a video on Mafia 3, and I think that's a perfect example of, the other way. The stuff you do in Mafia 3 is not really all that bad, but you do it, no joke, 50 times each. Or say just, the crowbar thing you do in Mafia. You're doing that hundreds of, and I'm not kidding, hundreds of times. So yeah, by the 300th time, it's different than the fifth time, right? So cutting down bamboos, right? I think that's fun, honestly, anytime you do it in that game. But okay, is it not as fun the 50th as the second? But there's not 50, right? So, to me, it's just how many times a lot of these things are in it. And it's really just, can you give us 10 activities and maybe 2 to 4 times each? Because then you're not overdoing any one specific thing, right? So, it kind of just depends, but I think that's a perfect length. We didn't really even talk about that yet. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not looking for this to be 100 hours. Again, I think Ghost 1 took me about 50. Let's just say, I'll give you guys an updated time when I go through it again on the different account. But I always talk about, the day it comes out is the same day Directive 8020 comes out. I'm a big fan of Supermassive, even with all their mistakes that they've made in the last 10 years. The day after is Digimon. I mean, that's just a gauntlet. And a terrible, I would say, that's a really bad placement of all three of those games. Maybe not Ghost, but it really takes precedent for me away from those other two. So for me personally, I don't need a game that's 100 plus hours. And again, I think you're looking at 5-ish years since Ghost of Tsushima. You look at God of War, you look at Spider-Man, you look at Horizon. Really, a lot of these PlayStation games have taken. Sorrows from Returnal, I think, will actually be 5 years. So a lot of these games take 5 years, and you're not actually. Death Stranding 2 is the perfect example for all the talk of Death Stranding 2 leading into that game. To me, it's the exact same length. I think the story is like literally beat for beat, time-wise, the same. And I mean, yeah, you're having like the platinum chases and people like 100%ing the games, but I mean, that's also like 100 plus hours for Death Stranding 2, 100 plus for Death Stranding 1, and they're very similar in like what you're doing. So I don't know, for me personally, these games I'm never expecting after 5 years for them to all of a sudden randomly double in length. They've all stayed pretty close to the original. So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. Give me 50 hours, maybe even give me, well, based off what he said, right? If you're not going for everything, it's not even going to take you 50. Probably take you, 20-ish, 25 hours. If you do everything, then that gets you into the 50. But for this type of game, I think I'm going to be platinuming it for sure. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.